America stands at the dawn of a new day. Freedom, justice, and human dignity have always guided our journey toward a more perfect union. Now, across our country, we are standing together for the right of gay and lesbian Americans to marry the person they love. And with historic victories for marriage, we've delivered a mandate for full equality. The wind is at our back, but our journey has just begun. Join us.
Hey everyone, welcome to Dom Time. My name is Dom Giordano. That is a brand new, just recently coined ad, and the voice of God in Morgan Freeman talking about marriage equality, talking about same-sex marriage, gay marriage, and that's what we're going to be talking tonight on Dom Time with a few guests. And you can call us throughout the next half hour or so, our weekly show here together. Big issues, big guests. And this week, gay marriage is in the news, coming off the election cycle, in addition to all the things that went on around spending, around the president's big win. There were 3 states now, adding to a total of 9 states where gay marriage or same-sex marriage is recognized. Joining us to talk about this and to give us his perspective on New Jersey, and I'm interested in Pennsylvania, Delaware has already passed this, is Evan Wolfson. Evan is the founder and president of Freedom to Marry. He joins us here on Dom Time. Evan, welcome in. Give me your take on the Morgan Freeman ad. What is the driver here? What's Morgan Freeman getting at that you think has any kind of power or reach?
Well, I think what we're seeing is 2 things. Number one, the more Americans have had a chance to talk about who gay families are, who these couples are, the love and commitment that they have shown in their life, and their desire to share in the commitment of marriage, the more Americans have had a chance to really think about those families and then think about their own values of fairness and the golden rule and treating others as you'd want to be treated, the more people have moved in support of the freedom to marry. And I think the other point that is being made is that this is part of an American tradition where we have a constitution that says that all of us are entitled to be respected. All of us are entitled to be equal under the law. All of us are entitled to have, in the words of the Declaration of Independence, liberty and the pursuit of happiness. And it's wrong to deny gay people the love and commitment and the protection and the legal respect of marriage.
Well, Evan, am I a disrespecter then? Because I'll tell you straight up, I favor civil unions. I've favored it for 20 years. I think I'm in the mainstream of where most Americans are. We'll talk about New Jersey, where there's a majority apparently that do favor same-sex marriage. But how am I disrespecting if I say, let's grant you the same legal rights as I have in my marriage?
Well, because if you have a marriage and you don't have a civil union, then you're not granting me, as it were, the same rights. You're saying that you should get one thing and some other people should get something different. Your family should go in the front door, other family should go in the back. And that's just not fair. It's not right. I don't think you would want to trade in your marriage for a civil union, so why should anyone else have to?
Well, because I think there are 2 things here. One has a religious significance, one has a definitional, a man and a woman, Evan, and the other has a legal and a moral responsibility, I guess, that I favor with civil unions. Let me take you to New Jersey for a moment, and let me give you the phone numbers, because I know a number of people want to get in, and I want to get them in with you if we possibly can right now at 866-472-8868, 866-472-8868 will get you to Dom Time, and we'll get you in here to talk about same-sex marriage in New Jersey. The Governor Christie, who has appointed people across the board, some of them who are openly gay, one to the state court, has said, why not have a referendum on this? Why don't we do what happened in the last election in Maryland and Washington and Maine? Why not do that, Evan? Let's put it up for a vote in New Jersey at least.
Yeah, well, let's step back for a second, because you've now thrown a lot of things out there and not all of them are accurate. You said, first of all, that marriage is religious, and it is true that for many people marriage is religious, but that's separate from the marriage licenses that you and others get from the government. We're not talking here about what churches or religions need to do. That's up to them. And there are many churches and many synagogues and many temples that actually would like to be able to celebrate religious ceremonies and bless the holy unions and the love and commitment of gay couples. That's up to the churches. They should be able to decide what they want to do without the government telling them what to do. What we're talking about here, though, is the government's issuance of civil marriage licenses. That's not religious. That's the law. And when it comes to the law, the government should not be, treating some of us differently from others. So let's not mix those two things.
Well, okay, well, we'll put that on hold for a moment. What about here in New Jersey, though? Governor Christie proposing what I think is the fair thing to do. Let's have an up and down vote. Let's have in New Jersey same-sex marriage, equality or not.
Yeah, well, the last time New Jersey put a civil rights question up to a vote was in 1915, when a governor said, let's throw it to the people to vote on whether women should have the right to vote. And guess what? The men voted it down. In America, we don't believe that the basic rights of any of us should be put up to a vote. Your freedom of religion, your freedom of speech, my freedom to marry.
Right.
That's not something that we should be voting up or down on. The whole idea of a basic freedom, a basic right in America is that we don't put those things up to a vote.
Well, I would differ here, though, because where you and I differ on this, I think, is, are you saying this is the same thing as somebody whose state of being, either gender or race, is the same thing as being gay? And there are people that object to this religiously. They object to it on behavioral grounds, Evan.
Yeah, well, there were people, many, in fact a majority, who objected to the idea of interracial marriage. There are people who object to the idea of interfaith marriage, and they're entitled to have their views, but they're not entitled to use the government as a weapon.
Is that the same thing, though? See, this is where I think, if I would give advice on this, I think people are being won over on this, and civil unions is the step in the next way to go. But when you say this is the same thing as someone objects to two people of different races marrying, there's a difference in the minds of some people religiously. There's a hurdle there.
Well, and people are entitled to their religious views, but they're not entitled to impose those through the law. I mean, let's really understand the difference. And you know something? In New Jersey, the same law that created civil union created a commission to study how well civil union is working. And the commission found that it doesn't work. It doesn't work because people don't understand what it is. When you go to a hospital, the IRS, when you go to anyone and you say, that's my wife, I'm married, everyone knows immediately how to treat you. They know who the primary person you're building a life with is, and they respect it. Civil union doesn't bring that security and clarity. And so it's not the same, and it's not equal, and it's not as good, and people shouldn't be saying that it is, because the official commission in New Jersey that actually studied this actually said it isn't.
Hey, Evan, thank you very much. Thanks for starting us off tonight. Hope to have you in studio sometime, because I know this will continue. Thanks for joining us.
Sounds good. Okay, bye-bye.
There's Evan Wolfson with us here on Dom Time, the Dom Giordano Show, and we'll continue to take your calls at 866-472-8868, 866-472-8868. Should New Jersey go the way of 9 other states? I think a referendum is what's needed. That's next. We'll talk more on same-sex marriage in New Jersey and in Pennsylvania with Dom Giordano.